I was going through my garage the other day and I was looking through some of the bits and pieces that I'd done art-wise during the lockdown. And I came across this poster that said, "Be true to you." And it reminded me that there are times in my life when I haven't done that, when I've done my best to fit in, when I didn't really want to. Have you done that? Because it's a funny thing, feeling that you want to be part of your peers, but not really enjoying it, because politically, there was also someone who tried to be top dog. There was always someone gossiping about someone who wasn't there. There was always something going on that always made me feel uncomfortable. I don't know if it was because I was inherently shy, but I recall years ago when I was about 17, being around a group of my peers and meeting a lot of new people for the first time and feeling completely the outsider. And it was only maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I talked to someone who's become my friend since then. And she was saying that back then I seemed very aloof, as though I didn't want to know anyone. When the truth was, I was so shy that I didn't know what to say to anyone. And I was edging about trying to work out how to fit in with this group of people. And yet, whilst doing that, I didn't want to be somebody that I wasn't. And have you ever felt the same? Is it the same for you, or is it just me that feels sometimes you have to give away part of yourself to be part of a bigger whole? And the problem with that for me is that I really don't like it when I have to be somebody that I don't want to be. And the reason for that, I think, is that at the end of the day, we want to be ourselves, don't we? We want to be the person that we think we are. And it's really hard sometimes to be somebody that you're not. And I feel that being true to yourself is the only way that you can go forward. I mean, after all, we're born and we're grown up, and we're taught things, generally, if we're lucky, by our parents, who give us a guidepost, a moral guidepost, if you like, as to where we're going to go in life. And I think that's really important, because if you don't have a route that you plan to take, not a route career-wise or anything like that, but with your thinking and about who the person you think you are, then you really don't have much, do you? There have been a few times in my life where I've tried to fit in and where I've tried to play that game. And all the while I've tried to play it, I felt uncomfortable, because there are these people who have to be that top dog. And there are people who like to be that follower of that top dog. And yet I've never felt I wanted to be that kind of person. I've only ever wanted to be me. And the thing is, in this world that we live in, it's really hard to be yourself, because we're bombarded from things like social media with people telling us what we should be doing. Our lives aren't our own anymore. Our thoughts have got to fit a format. And I don't like that, because to be fair, a lot of what people are telling me I should be is the exact thing that I don't want to be. And that's the precise thing that I struggle with, because at the end of the day, being yourself, being true to the things that you believe in, well, that's the only thing that matters. Because when you lay your head on the pillow at night, you do not want to be thinking about the things that you did that broke your code, if you like, in order to fit in with somebody else. And over the years, I've found that I no longer want to play that game. But to be fair, I never did in the first place. However, sometimes, in order to move on, you have to do exactly that. And that's the time when you exactly should be the person that you want to be. How do you feel when you find yourself bending to fit other people's agendas, if you like? Because that's what happens a lot of the time. Do you feel, as I do, that sometimes you're better off on your own than being with somebody else? Because when I'm in a group of people, I can within minutes find out whether there's some sort of game being played, whether someone's making a move to be the top dog of the conversation, and whether there's a feel about the conversation that's putting somebody in that group down, but it's so subtle that the person that they're going at doesn't notice it. It's at those times when I feel really uncomfortable. And so I've found over the years that what I need to do is to stay away from the groups and be my own person. It's a quandary that many of us worry about because we all want to live our best life, but we want to feel good about it while we're doing it. And for that reason, I think it's important that you have your own thoughts, ethics. I don't know the word for it, but you have your same thinking on a regular basis that makes you think to yourself, yes, this is right, this is wrong, this is what I don't want to do. And then plan your route forward so that you're doing what's right for you. If you're very lucky in this life, you're surrounded with a loving family and a few close friends who want your best interests. And if you do have that, you're luckier than most, to be fair, because the world is getting a harder place to live in. And it's harder to not be swayed by public opinion and not be swayed by doing things that you think you should do because everybody's telling you that you should do it. But let me tell you now, that is not good for you. You have to live life your own way. You have to have your own set of morals and ethics, and you have to go about it in a way that makes you feel happy about what you've done. I've talked in other videos about how tough my parents were with us, how disciplined our lives were, and how we were made to realise that we had responsibilities and that the actions we took always had consequences. And because of that, as much as I didn't like it at the time, I look back and think to myself how lucky I was that I had strong grounding, because it's made my life easier in dealing with people who have tried to bend me against my will and make me do things that I didn't really want to do. Of course, they won't say they're making you, they're sort of persuading you, trying to fit you along with their agenda or plan of whatever they want to do. But you know what? You have to do what's right for you. If you're a parent, don't try and be your child's best friend. It's your job to teach them the ways of the world and to help guide them to be secure, strong adults. And I'm grateful that my parents did that for me. I've been very lucky that in my life I've had people who not really have become mentors, but there have been people who I think they're like a guardian angel and have kept me out of trouble along the way and talked enough sense to me to tell me the truth and tell me what's right and what's wrong and whatever way I'm going, whether that is the way I should be going or not. And it's another of those things where you have these hard lessons in life and you need a little bit of shaking up sometimes in order to make you realise what is right for you. My parents used to say to me, be careful who you associate with, because if you associate with them long enough, you'll end up like they are. And when I was young, I didn't really get the point of what they're on about. But as the years have gone by, the things that they said to me when I was a teen have come back to me and made me realise that, you know what, they were a lot cleverer than I thought. The things that they taught me the things that became my right and my wrong, the things that helped me become the person that I am today, I've also decided the things that I've done with my life and what I've done right and what I've done wrong. Because truthfully, we all make mistakes along the way. But your aim is to be true to yourself and do the best that you can do so that you live a life where you're grateful to be who you are and not embarrassed about the things that you've done. I've got a question for you. Are you doing what you want to do with your life? Are you living a life where you are proud to be who you are? Are you living a life where you follow your own path? It's probably tougher than everybody else's because you're making your own way. But if you are, doesn't it make you feel better that you have this innate sense of what's right and what's wrong? Because there are so many people out there who are trying, if you like, to be top dog. It's trying to get as many friends as they can. But the problem is with friends is that, sadly, you can count your best friends on one hand. They're the people who will be beside you and will stay beside you no matter what goes on in your life. The rest, sadly, are a bit like the wind, I suppose. They come and they go. You have to be careful about the input that you allow to get inside your head. I've noticed since the world of social media how there are many people who will do their best to convince you that they're right and their way is the right way. And if you're not strong enough, you can follow that. You'll never be happy because you're not doing what you know is right for you. But because you want to be part of the group, if you like, you'll do those things, you'll talk those things, you'll start speaking those things because you don't want to argue. And there's a way out of that. And that is to quite simply keep yourself to yourself. It's very dark here now, isn't it? And yet I look out there and it's beautiful. Let's have a look. What I will say is this though, if you're finding yourself caught up in that circle where you're always doing things but not being what you want to be, not being the person you'd like to be, don't keep doing it. This is your life. This is for you to decide what's best for you. Being your own person, being yourself, well, that's a damn good thing to be, isn't it? I'll leave you with that one to ponder on, and see you on the next video.